they would not give up any of their economic power in order to aid the South in the war.
There is a substantial number of slave owners, including some of the most economically and politically powerful slave owners in the South, many of whom are gung-ho for secession and for fighting the war, but feel that they're fighting the war in defense of their prerogatives as masters and as planters, and are not about to give up those prerogatives even for the sake of prosecuting the war to defend those prerogatives. That's one of the great ironies I think I'm trying to convey in the book. This extreme short-sightedness among some of these planters.
I think one of the reasons, I'm guessing, that one of the reasons this hasn't been understood more widely is that they fought. The planters fought.
Yes,
there were many of the generals and the colonels and the lieutenant colonels, and a lot of them died, and people don't understand that, which is, by our modern lights, a great irony. They're willing to put their lives and their children's lives on the line and to lose them, but don't take my property.
You know, there is a phrase that in the course of writing my last two books, I came across over and over and over again, and it almost becomes boilerplate in the South, which is, in the South, and this is not something being said by Northerners, said these people, referring to the planters, will give up their fathers, their husbands, their sons, and themselves, but put one hand on their Negroes, or their horses, or their cotton, and what a howl you will hear. They identified their wealth as even more valuable than their lives in many cases.
You know, to the modern mind, this is just purely amazing. I know that, I mean, I am aware, at least I think, that from, what would you say, 1880 on, 1890 on, there have been people of enormous consequence in American society who wield the power they do politically and financially because of the money they have. But, and they're very keen, and they do everything they can to ensure their economic interests, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to get into all that. But I never, ever heard any of them say, I'd rather, you know, remember the old saying, I'd rather be dead than red? I've never heard them saying, I'd rather be dead than lose any of my property.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about an extreme case, right,
Yeah.
of short-sightedness. On the other hand, if we want to pursue this, people who pollute the air, manufacturers who pollute the air, pollute the water, pollute the food, and so on and so forth, their families have to breathe that air, drink that water, or swim in that water, eat that food. That doesn't stop them from going ahead and doing it. So there is, you know, there are continuities across the eras.
Interesting.
In some respects.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and the leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.